When I saw you for the first time today, walking down the aisle, I didn't think I could picture anything more beautiful. You looked absolutely incredible and beyond my imagination of what beauty could look like. I couldn't wait for you to get down the aisle so we could begin our new life together. Sophie and I have been together now for around 6 years, meeting through a dating app, which is widely known for meeting your true love and nothing else. After a while of talking, I found out Sophie was actually in a cast. I should have known this was an omen for the future. I actually asked the celebrant if I needed to say in sickness and in health, as I have already encountered countless illnesses on holiday, various surgeries on ears and noses, and an unfortunate relationship with hay fever and dust.
For those who don't know me, Sophie and myself go way back when we met into the early 90s as I'm Sophie's big sister. Due to only being 18 months apart and without our consent, we were dressed as twins for most of our younger years. Some of our ventures as children weren't always as successful as Sophie's now. We did try and launch our own milkshake business, but unfortunately we only sold 1 bottle. We started our own band called Flames, but despite a handmade poster featuring a photo shoot in a tree, we only had 1 smash hit. We tried to rival the Blue Planet Aquarium and stuck drawings of fish all over the windows and doors, with the main attraction being a light-up tiger nightlight in Soph's room, and we charged £2 to Mum and Dad for the whole experience. We also tried to start our own radio show. We interviewed celebrities like Johnny Wilkinson, but it was just Dad, so it wasn't great. We produced West End-worthy shows every year in the Isle of Man, and we choreographed a fantastic dance routine with Leah that we practiced to go on Stars in With Their Eyes as Mystique, but thank God the application never went in because it was hideous. Mum and Dad always saw Soph as the sensible and hard-working child out of the 2 of us. Soph at first kept her dates with John quite quiet, and in fact she didn't actually tell me when they went on their first one. She'd recently had an operation on her foot, she was in plaster up to her knee and she was using crutches. I remember her leaving the house and me standing in the window, watching from behind the curtain like the nosy big sister that I was. A young man got out of the car, opened the door for her and he helped her with her crutches. What I should have thought in that moment is what a lovely, kind and caring man he was, but honestly I was just wishing him luck and that he would keep her out of the house as long as possible. Soph returned many hours later with a smile on her face, and that smile has stuck ever since. Everyone has different opinions on what love is and what it should be, but here is what I know from the 2 of you. Love is having cheese fondue nights in the lounge. It's going on trips where John sits in hotel rooms while Soph is constantly ill or hungover. It's taking Ziggy on weekends away to the Lake District and going on their favourite walks. It's letting Soph give you facials and squeezing your spots to your disgust, even though you definitely quietly enjoy it. It's playing a game of badminton and both being your competitive selves, but always encouraging each other too. It's both knowing that you absolutely suck at DIY, but being proud of John when he finally puts up a washing line. Love has been able to work from home every single day together. It's loving each other's families and friends, keeping each other grounded, and everything else in between. John is Soph's safe place, and in John she's found someone who matches her sarcasm and stubbornness, which can sometimes be hard to do. Thank you to John for being the perfect match for my sister.
Where can I go? Oh my god, it's amazing. It is, isn't it? Wow. Absolutely amazing. Like a movie star.
Well, you end my sentence by on the end, like to make sure you know it's the end of it. So, like for example, I'll say, "So if you do look incredible on John's event." Yeah, I'm taking that. So my relationship with John started when I moved to Kings in year 9. I say relationship and not friendship because the first year, John called me Deodora behind my back and didn't like me for no reason whatsoever. We started to become friends when we sat next to each other in English. One particular project we had to do was read and annotate The Old Man and the Sea, to which John refused to read or annotate for some reason. I asked him every lesson, why weren't you doing anything? Why are you not writing? Why are you not reading? And he just shrugged and carried on cutting up his rubber with his ruler. I couldn't take it anymore, so I decided to do John's notes for him, to which he's never let me forget that he actually beat me in the exam using my own notes.
Then we went off to the same university together, Nottingham-Trent, and he put in a lot of thought into what subject he was going to do at uni. And he did some research into psychology because he heard the girl-to-guy ratio was really in his favour. Not that any of that was put into use in his 3 years there. We both had the privilege, I think we can call it privilege, of living with John for a year at university. And this is where mine and John's telepathic nature came into play with the birth of Punditry Corner, a self-titled dynamic comedy duo, much to the irritation of our other housemates. And I would fuel John's favourite hobby of writing funny statuses or comments on people's Facebook accounts, messaging other people called John Armitage, "Why do you have my name?" and messaging girls over and over again saying, "Do you like the sound of up sexy?" in the hope that they will reply, "What's up sexy?" John didn't know what to do with himself after he left university, so he wanted to go find himself travelling. And to do this, he needed some funds. So the first finding himself he did was find himself stacking shelves in his local Waitrose as the self-dubbed king of fruit and veg.
We didn't see each other then for about a year and a half, and on his return, we went up in London for a beer. I asked him how it was, and he went, "Yeah, it was all right."
What we do know of his time in Australia is it was cut short due to an interaction with the deadly wildlife that they've got there. You're probably thinking, was John bitten by a huntsman spider? Did he have a bite from a crocodile? Did he get a kick from a kangaroo? No, he was something much more deadly than that. He had an interaction with a mango fruit. Whilst working on a farm picking mangoes, he got mango rash, which meant that he could no longer continue working on the farm and had to come back to the UK. And to this day, he doesn't go down the fruit aisle at any supermarkets without holding Soph's hand.
Love participates of the soul itself. It is of the same nature. Like it, it is the divine spark. Like it, it is incorruptible, indivisible, imperishable. It is a point of fire that exists within us, which is immortal, infinite, which nothing can confine and which nothing can extinguish. We feel it burning even to the very marrow of our bones, and we see it beaming in the very depths of heaven. What a grand thing it is to be loved. What a far grander thing it is to love. The heart becomes heroic by dint of passion. It is no longer composed of anything but what is pure. It no longer rests on anything that is not elevated and great. An unworthy thought can no more germinate in it than a nettle on a glacier. The serene and lofty soul, inaccessible to vulgar passions and emotions, dominating the clouds and the shades of this world. Its follies, its lies, its hatreds, its vanities, its miseries, inhibits the blue of heaven, and no longer feels anything profound and subterranean shocks of destiny. As the crests of mountains feel the shocks of earthquake, if there did not exist someone who loved, the sun would become extinct.
and gentlemen, may I begin by welcoming you all here today to the marriage of John and Sophie. Today marks a new beginning in their lives together. You are the people they have chosen to share this day with. You are here to witness their wedding vows and celebrate their marriage. And we know how much this means to them both. My name is Carol. This is Heather. Heather is the registrar overseeing the ceremony and ensuring that all the legal formalities are met. And we both wish you all a very happy and memorable day. So to start the ceremony, could you please state your full name, starting with you, John?
John Richard James Armitage.
Sophie? Sophie Rebecca Vows. Perfect. This place in which we are now met has been duly sanctioned according to law for the celebration of marriages. You are all gathered here to witness the joining in matrimony of John Richard James Armitage and Sophie Rebecca Bardsley. If there is any person here present who knows of any lawful impediment to this marriage, they should declare so now. And that's the quietest they'll be all day.
I was worried about the sheep more.
No, they're well-trained sheep. Before you are joined in matrimony, I have to remind you of the solemn and binding character of the vows you're about to make. Marriage in this country is the union of two people, voluntarily entered into for life, to the exclusion of all others. So now I'm going to ask each of you in turn to declare that you do not know of any lawful reason why you should not be married to one another. John, you're going to go first, please, to repeat after me. I do solemnly declare.
I do solemnly declare.
That I know not.
I know not.
Of any lawful impediment.
Of any lawful impediment.
Why I, John Richard James Armitage.
Why I, John Richard James Armitage.
May not be joined in matrimony.
May not be joined in matrimony.
To Sophie Rebecca Bardsley.
To Sophie Rebecca Bardsley.
I do solemnly declare.
I do solemnly declare.
That I know not.
That I know not.
Of any lawful impediment.
Of any lawful impediment.
Why I, Sophie Rebecca Bardsley.
Why I, Sophie Rebecca Bardsley.
May not be joined in matrimony.
May not be joined in matrimony.
To John Richard James Armitage.
To John Richard James Armitage.
John and Sophie wish to marry, for in each other's company they have found fulfilment and love. As a consequence of this love, they have drawn closer to one another, and now wish to affirm publicly their relationship and to offer each other the security that comes from vows sincerely made and faithfully kept. Marriage must be entered into freely, voluntarily, and with the full and unreserved consent of you both. Therefore, do you, John Richard James Armitage, take Sophie Rebecca Bardsley, here present, to be your lawful wedded wife?
I do.
And do you, Sophie Rebecca Bardsley, take John Richard James Armitage, here present, to be your lawful wedded husband?
I do.
So now the solemn moment has come for these two persons to make the contract of marriage before you, their witnesses. So if you're able, could I ask you all please to stand again? I, John Richard James Armitage.
I, John Richard James Armitage.
Take you, Sophie Rebecca Bardsley.
Take you, Sophie Rebecca Bardsley.
To be my wedded wife.
To be my wedded wife.
Sophie. I, Sophie Rebecca Bardsley.
I, Sophie Rebecca Bardsley.
Take you, John Richard James Armitage.
You, John Richard James Armitage.
To be my wedded husband.
To be my wedded husband.
Okay, so you two stay exactly as you are. Everybody else, if you'd like to take your seats again. So John and Sophie are now going to make their own personal vows to one another. And I believe that Joe has got the vows. Where's Joe? Here we are. So can we have John's first? Do you want me to hang on to Sophie's? It's perfect. I'm going to have those, mister. So John, whenever you're ready.
So, you know me better than anyone else in the world, and you still love me. When I am with you, I know everything is going to be okay, because from the first moments we met, I knew I'd found my forever partner. I promise to be there through your worry days, and to always make sure you go to bed with a smile on your face. I know not every day will be perfect, but being with you will never not make me happy. I promise to love and cherish you as much as I do our dog, Ziggy. But you know you are my everything, and a life without you is something I can't comprehend. You are my true love, my best friend, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. I love you.
You have a truly inspiring attitude to life. You're honest, kind, gentle and funny. But above all, you see the positive in every single person and every situation. And I think that's a truly unique gift to have. Throughout our relationship, we've had some incredible highs, but some unimaginable lows as well. You've been by my side throughout, and for that I'm eternally grateful. In return, I promise to always be your number one supporter, to try and make every day brighter, and to always answer your would you rather question. Above all, I will continue to tell you every single night that I love you before we go to sleep, even if it's always met with, I know you do. You're my best friend. Thank you for choosing me to share your life with. We now come to the giving of the wedding rings. This is a traditional and ancient way of sealing the contract you have made, and is the outward sign of the lifelong promises that you've made to one another. So Callum, I believe, has the rings. It's your big moment, Callum. Open the ring, that's it. So John, if you can take Sophie's ring, please, and place it on the tip of her finger. Callum can stand there and enjoy his moment for a bit longer. That's it. And if you can stay after me, please. Sophie, I give you this ring
Sophie, I give you this ring
as a symbol of my endless love for you.
as a symbol of my endless love for you.
All that I am
All that I am
and all that I have,
and all that I have,
I bring to you.
I bring to you.
May this ring remind us of this moment
May this ring remind us of this moment
and the commitment I have made to you.
and the commitment I have made to you.
Perfect. If you'd like to pop the ring on.
Just.
Perfect. So Callum, we have another ring, please. Sophie, if you can place that on John's left finger. Lovely. And if you can say after me. John, I give you this ring.
John, I give you this ring
as a symbol of my endless love for you.
as a symbol of my endless love for you.
All that I am
All that I am
and all that I have,
and all that I have,
I bring to you.
I bring to you.
May this ring remind us of this moment
May this ring remind us of this moment
and the commitment I have made to you.
and the commitment I have made to you.
Perfect. If you'd like to pop the ring on. Oh, that went on very easily. The purpose of marriage is that you may always love, care for, and support each other through all the joys and sorrows of life, and that love may be fulfilled in a relationship of permanent and continuing commitment. We trust that these things will come true for you both. So John and Sophie, you have both made the declarations prescribed by law, and you have made a solemn and binding contract with one another in the presence of your witnesses, your family and your friends here this afternoon. It is my privilege and indeed my pleasure to tell you that you are now lawfully married. Congratulations, you are husband and wife. Would you like to kiss your bride?
All the bridesmaids, you looked absolutely stunning walking down the aisle. I told Soph for many times I was not going to cry, but seeing you walk down followed by Soph did make me slightly tear up. But if you say that again, I will deny it. You've all been massive supports throughout the day, and special mention to Rachel, Vic and Leah. You put on one hell of a stag do? Different turnout. Hell of a hen do in Dublin from what I hear, which I understood only left one question. Was it real or fake? For everyone else, you'll have to find a hen do goer to know what I'm on about. I've seen it way too many times. Rachel, I'm glad to say I have another sister, and Leah and Vic, I'm lucky to say I've gained 2 close friends. Before I turn my attention to the most important individual of the day, I have to thank all my groomsmen, where they are dotted around, for their help over this past weekend and throughout. They have been an undenied support, and this day couldn't have gone on without them. I do now move on to the 2 guys either side of me, Callum, Pie, maybe you've heard, or trainer next to me. When looking at best friends, I don't think I could ask for much more. Both are always there, a drop of hat if needed, and we have been through thick and thin together. They threw me a hell of a stag do in Marbella, and we have countless fun memories together. There's no 2 people I would rather have stand beside me.
Now Soph's back to you, and I'm going in with a little bit of soppiness, which we don't usually do. I hope you already know this, but you really do understand me better than anybody else in the world. My gratitude towards you goes beyond words for your constant support, love and guidance that you give me. I really hope there is truth in the saying that you are who you surround yourself with, because there is no one else in the world that I would like to resemble than you. You're the most generous, thoughtful and fiercely loyal person, not only to me, but every single person in your life. You make incredible Hugo spritzers. I love it when we call each other with a movie quote and you get really annoyed at me on the phone when I can't name the movie, even though it's either Angus Thongs, She's the Man or Miss Congeniality. I love how we're absolutely horrendous at geography and that you have no sense of interior design. Sorry. I love that you always buy me pineapple-related presents when I literally hate pineapples, but you say it reminds me of my hair. And I love that we only have 30 years of memories with so many more to make, and that John, you will be part of these memories too. Now, traditionally, as John said, there is one person's speech missing from today's proceedings. Someone who undoubtedly would have given an entertaining and heartfelt speech about his daughter and how beautiful she looked today, and doing lots of strange dance moves on the dance floor. It's hard for me to know exactly what Dad would have said today, but I'm going to give it a little go, and in all honesty, I feel like giving this speech has been quite a lot to live up to. Dad used to have 2 cards with our names on by the side of his bed. The ones that, give the meaning and what that person's going to achieve in life. On Soph's card it said the following: Soph meaning wisdom, a princess to be sheltered from the storm. Whereas on mine it said Rachel meaning lamb, which was just a bit, shit. Now there was literally nothing to take from my meaning, but Dad took your meaning extremely seriously and quoted it back to me every single time we had a fallout or like a little mishap. She's a princess, shelter her from the storm. Okay, sure. He saw the meaning as extremely true of his daughter. Dad had always sheltered, protected and championed Soph in everything that she's done, and Dad would be so happy that John is now able to take on this role from him, even though you always know Dad is with you too. Dad and Soph's relationship was one to be admired, and I think if Dad was standing here today, he would have a few words of wisdom for the both of you. Firstly, and the most important, don't take life too seriously. Laugh as much as you can together. Second, John, let Sophie have another dog. Okay? It's either that or a horse, which has been on a Christmas list for 25 years, so you can decide that one. Seize every moment you can for adventure and new opportunities. Baths are the best, even if you only run Soph one so you can watch the football, but we won't talk about your awful choice in football team at this point either. And finally, say thank you to each other. You are so lucky to have found one another and have such an exciting future ahead of you.
John said from the day that we were in English up until when he got back from travelling that he'd never work in an office and become a corporate slave. So much so that when he got back from travelling, he said he was going to move to Africa to become a football coach. That's why I now work in energy for the past 6 years at the co-op. And when doing research for this, I went on his LinkedIn to see how long he'd worked there. 6.5 years, and discovered his job title is Utilities Infrastructure Coordinator. Genuinely, did anybody know that was his job? Because me and Pi had absolutely no idea. John then decided enough is enough. He decided to join the gym in order to meet girls and get ripped. His words, not ours. He finally matched with Sophie on Tinder, and that was the end of his gym membership.
Fast forward several years, and they've ended up with a house together in Wimslow and then later in Macclesfield. And then along came the adorable Ziggy. Jophie only live a 5-minute walk down the road from our house, and it's great to see them walking the dog with Alfie and Ziggy all the time. We don't want to leave without saying a massive shout out to John's mum, Rach. This is from everyone in the room that have stayed at your house, putting up with John over the years as well, and generally being there for us. Whether that letters, staying over, driving us places, making sure that we got home after a night out, it's massively appreciated. And regarding John as an individual, he's the most empathetic and compassionate person that I know. So thank you for creating that environment that created a human being just like that. So on behalf of everyone, just want to say thank you, Rach, and a little bit of a toast to Rach, please. So to Rach. John and Sophie are the most amazing of matches. As these stories have probably told, John needed some maturing and Sophie's done exactly that. Seeing John grow like this has really made it easy for Sophie to fit seamlessly into a tight-knit friendship group, and we really appreciate the strength of bond between them.
John is genuinely one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and he'll often go out of his way to make sure that everybody's happy. Sophie's also one of the funniest people with an incredible sense of humour. Saying this, she's also so kind, such a warm person, and I'm very excited to see how they get on in their new life together.
It was pretty clear from the outset of Soap's love of animals. I'm fairly certain she stuck it out at the beginning purely because of my family dog, Barney. Soap quickly became infatuated with Barney, walking him on her own or picking me up on a Friday with Barney in tow. She has a strong fondness for all animals, owning rabbits, riding horses as a child, and telling me to pull over at midnight because she could see a sheep stuck on the side of the road that had escaped. The love she has for all things really has no end. All this led to a decision in summer 2020 to get our dog Ziggy, and you will often hear her refer to him as her baby, or, and I quote, she birthed him. But let's not go into the logistics of that one. We've been very fortunate to visit various destinations around Europe together, move into our second home and make many fun-filled memories, and our greatest achievement was surviving COVID together. However, spending time with Soph is always a joy. We constantly bicker about who is the funnier one, or, as you heard in her Vows, playing my favourite game, Would You Rather, although that does get tiresome for her very quickly. One of the things that made me fall for Sophie was just how unselfishly thoughtful she is. She never puts herself first, and she always remembers the things that are most important to other people. I've lost count of the amount of times that she's remembered to check in on friends on difficult days, or made sure she's got what they needed even before thinking of herself. When she came back from her hen do, she said she couldn't have dreamt of a better weekend, and that she felt so lucky to have as many great friends as she did. However, I never saw it this way. She isn't lucky at all. She's just a wonderful person, and good people will always draw good people towards them. There's no luck in anything that she does. The love you felt that weekend and the love you feel from everyone here today is because of who you are as a person. There is no luck involved whatsoever. You deserve everything in the world, and despite the hardships you've been through, the way you maintained your happiness and look towards others makes you the strongest person that I know. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you and creating new memories and having fun.
5, 4,
the sun